up to another good morning. Time to go. Oh, we are all looking for adventure. We are all looking for adventure. We are all looking.
Welcome back to the 3x5 Live
podcast.
Happy
New Year.
Woo! 2022.
No.
Life is good.
It's going to be a good year, guys.
It is going to be a fantastic year. So last week we kind of did the foundation of goal setting. Again, this is a 3-part series. This is part 2 of 3. Part 1 was all about mindset, about behavior change, about coming up with your one big mission of really just feeling good as the overarching mission that's just going to help you achieve your goals.
And I hope that you had success with that. You know, we had mentioned maybe pressing the pause button and taking some time to actually clarify what that mission is, because that idea of how are we going to want to feel, what are we going to be focusing on, is going to now drive this next piece. If you hadn't had time to do that, no worries. You can always go back and watch that and then start here.
Jessie's number 1 goal in 2022 is to get really good at the air fryer I bought her.
I'm so excited for the air fryer.
So we'll put out some recipes.
I was deterred because, we're pretty much plant-based. And so I assumed that a lot of it was like buffalo wings and things with chicken, but apparently you can throw any old vegetable,
cauliflower,
some fried Brussels sprouts. I mean,
wow.
We are some tofu bites. I'm very excited.
Sounds so delicious all you meat eaters out there.
I mean, I feel like I could sway some people. All right.
Yes. Anyway, so we're going to go kind of into
actually, one of the things we're going to be talking about today, one of the pillars on here is home cooking.
Oh.
What a great little segue you just did.
I didn't realize that was a pillar.
It is.
I may have to nix that pillar. I don't know if I believe in it. Well, I guess it's kind of important. Home cooking.
You're kidding me right now.
All right. Go ahead.
Note that he just said that.
Anyway. All right. You start us out.
Okay, so we were thinking about in this goal setting process, what are some foundational things that you can do to help get you to that part where you're actually setting your goals? And we wanted to make sure that we didn't just jump into the process like a SMART goal or a WHOOP goal, which all have really great pieces to it. But the mindset and mission was the first and foremost. And then that second piece is, again, to do that self-awareness analysis of where you currently are. And so something that I utilized, I think I've talked about this before, but when I went through the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, my training as a health coach, the first thing they had me do was something called the Circle of Life. And I'm going to hold it up. I don't know if you're watching this, but if you are, it basically looks like this little pie chart or a pie. And they had us do this to look at...
Or a wheel.
Or a wheel, or a circle of life.
Yes.
But they had us look at each of these different pillars of like creativity, finances, career, education, health, physical activity, and then do an assessment of where we are in terms of our satisfaction in those areas. And so the more satisfied you are, the further out you put
like
the dot on
10.
Your wheel. Yeah. No. The further out you put on your wheel, the less satisfied you are, you put closer to the center of the wheel, and then you connect the dots. So obviously when you think about a wheel, it's supposed to be round, right? And in all, if we could, we would love our life to be completely balanced like that. But This is something that I always have said, that it is really, really hard. And I really feel like not achievable for our life to be completely in balance.
I agree.
Because when we are focused on one pillar, by nature, another pillar might suffer a little bit because our attention is focused in one space over another. And this changes with different seasons of our lives, right? Like when you first get married or when you have kids or when you're starting your career, like things are going to give, and that's okay. This isn't to like shame you because your home cooking pillar is really low. It's to just bring attention and awareness to an area that could be a growth area for you. So when I have people do this exercise, or when I've done this exercise, it's great just to get like an overall snapshot of where you are. But the power of this is then to look at, I call it glow and grow. So the glow is, what are those pieces that you feel like you are satisfied and find joy in right now? And then think about all those things you do to help you be like where you want to be in that pillar. So for home cooking, for me, it's like, we tried like the Green Chef where I was in a rut. And so we started, I ordered these cooking boxes, and I felt like we got back into like trying new recipes, and our kids were eating different things, and it felt really good. And so when I realized that was sliding, I put a practice into place that helped me get back my spark for home cooking. Regardless of what Bri says, home cooking is so important to me because I know for me, I've had irritable bowel syndrome and digestive issues and things going on for years and years. And so I healed my body with food. And I always know that when I'm feeling off kilter, a lot of times it stems back from my diet. So Home cooking is a huge one for me, right? So my goal for you is to think about these pillars. And Bryan's going to talk about another way that he kind of does the same practice and I'm going to put a link to this wheel of life. And I would love for you to do this. Here's the other piece to this. Recognize that some of these aren't going to fit maybe into your idea of what are the most important things in your life. And so I used to tell people that they could cross out something. Like if spirituality right now isn't a priority for you, cross it off and put a pillar that you think should be, and cross out some that maybe aren't speaking to you. Your pillar doesn't have to be filled with all of these things. These are just like an example of something that you could to make your life feel as full as it possibly could.
Right.
So for goal setting, like I was just focusing on the grow, right? You recognize that it's like a garden, which Bryan's going to get into in a second. You need to water the things in order for it to grow, right? So what is that water, nutrient, things you're putting in your soil in those areas that maybe aren't as satisfied as those, right? So that would lend yourself to, if I want to set a goal around finances, what are those nutrients that I'm putting in place so that my garden in that area can grow?
Yes.
Or my pillar can grow. And so first step for this part is identify those grow areas and those glow areas, because it's also important to celebrate what we're doing well. And then take those grows, those pillars that you really do want to focus on, and then create those behaviors, which will be next week.
Yeah, exactly. So after that exercise, when I do goals, I like to kind of look at them, like Jessie said, in the gardens of life. I kind of simplify it. For me, my 3 gardens are energy, work, and love. Those are like my 3 that I focus on. But in the beginning, I had 8 gardens of life. So health and nutrition is 1, lifestyle, adventure. I love having that adventure word in there. So lifestyle, adventure is another. Family, financial, spiritual / contribution, personal growth, relationships, and environment / community. So those are kind of 8 gardens. And like Jessie was saying, some might need some nutrients. Some, are really thriving and putting out the produce. So I kind of make goals within, or I used to kind of make goals within each garden of those, each garden of life. But knowing that it's going to be really difficult to achieve goals in every single garden, because to do something exceptional in a year, something's going to have to suffer, like Jessie said. Mm-hmm. I pare this down into my 3 gardens: energy, work, and love. So what am I doing to feed my energy? What are my big goals this year for energy? What are my big goals this year for work? And what is going to light me up when it comes to work? And then love is, family and relationships, like my parents. It's all encompassing. And what do I need to work on in the love category in 2022? And it's a good way to just do the exercise where you're putting goals there, just to set the framework, the foundation, almost as like a journaling practice. Even if you don't think you need it to really fill in a financial category or the relationship category, still put a goal in there just to kind of feel your way through the process.
But I love, like, for an action step and like what you can do for this. And this is where, after we say this, maybe you press the pause button and really take some time to journal and think about this. The practice that I introduced to you was big, right? Like, there's a lot of things to look at and there's a lot of things to sift through. And again, that's that awareness piece. But once you've pared it down, like Bryan said, and you narrowed it down, what 2022 can be for you is, what are those 3 gardens, or what are those 3 pillars that need your focus right now? And then that's going to be the thing that you take with us into next week, where then we shape that into something that's actionable. So first week was mission, mindset. How do you want to feel? Think about when you felt your best, and then try to find ways to kind of get back to that version of you that you want to achieve this year. This is a little bit more honed in, where then you're really looking at those pillars of your life and what you're doing well and what needs some extra focus, getting those gardens in place so that you're ready to then move on to that next step, which is next week, where we then take you through that behavior habit change that can get you there.
Yep. So until next week, enjoy your first week of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Take care.
Hello world, wake me up to another good morning.